I had just bought a new house, and it was the first time I was about to live alone. It was a fairly nice house, big enough for a single working person. The only catch was that the house was situated in the poorer parts of the town. I remember when my parents had come to see the house before I moved in. They did warn me about the surrounding area not being a nice place to live. I had some idea about that, but I was tired of living with my parents at my age, and the house came at a good deal. So it was obvious why I still went ahead with my moving. After moving in and getting settled down, I straight away went to sleep. On my first night, I thought I could hear faint thumps from somewhere in the house. The thumps were so faint that I was having second thoughts whether I even heard those. I got up to check, just in case. I checked my room and another bedroom adjacent to mine. Only the basement was left to be checked. As I went down the stairs, those thumping noises suddenly stopped. I turned on the basement light. There was a storage area separated by a small wall around the corner. I went towards the wall, and even that area was clear. My eyes fell at a wooden panel on the wall in the corner. That panel particularly struck me. I had not checked the basement properly before buying the house. I went closer and realized that the panel was not fixed on the wall, but instead was used to cover a hole in the wall, large enough for a human to pass through it. Before I could do something, those same thumping noises came back, much louder this time. It did not take time for me to realize that the noise was coming through the hole. I quickly left the pane where it was and hurriedly left the basement, locking the door behind. Throughout the night, I kept hearing those thumping noises. That was the worst night of my life. In the morning, I called my dad and told him what I saw. He came to my house quickly with one of his friends. We went in the hole with him and came back after around 10 or 15 minutes with worried looks on their faces. My dad asked me to follow him. What I saw truly disturbed me. The hole led to a secret room beside the basement. At one corner was some old bedsheet and mattress along with some food wrappers strewn across the room. Also, what was further more disturbing was that there was another hole towards the back side of the house, covered by a similar panel which led to the same secret room. Some homeless man lived there without the previous homeowner noticing. He must have left the previous night, realizing that he was about to be caught. My dad sealed the hole shut and that very same day checked the house upside down to look for any other secret rooms. I still live in the same house, but thankfully those thumping noises never returned. There was an abandoned house at the end of our neighborhood. It was an old, dilapidated house, as old as anyone could remember. As the story goes, a few decades ago, there used to be a family living there, which included two young children. Once, a fire broke out at the house, and before anyone could escape, all the occupants were dead. The house stood vacant ever since, as it could not be sold. One particular evening, we were playing a game of truth and dare. My friend Steve chose dare, and we had asked him to go inside the abandoned house and stay in there for 10 minutes. He was reluctant, but as we all wanted to see the house from inside, we all agreed to go in with him. We went in through the backside door so as not to catch our neighbor's attention. Getting in was not tough, as the door was broken by the people who had already ventured in before us. The house was in complete ruins due to the fire, and partly due to the vandalism by drunken teenagers entering the house for fun. There was really nothing worth seeing in the house, so we decided to leave. One of my friends found the basement door and opened it. It was pitch black down there. We had brought flashlights with us, so we decided to see what was down. We soon realized that it was a fairly large basement, probably stretching along the entire size of the house. After looking around for a few minutes, we suddenly heard the cackle of small children. At first, we thought it was one of us trying to scare others, but even after gathering together, we could still hear the cackle. I pointed the flashlight at one corner, and the light revealed two young children laughing at us. We were shocked to see them, as we did not see anyone entering the house. However, something about those children was highly unnatural. Suddenly, they stopped laughing and gave us a death stare. We were shaking now, but the children continued to stare at us. At that same moment, we heard some scraping noises from the other corner of the room. My other friend pointed the flashlight towards that corner and screamed. The light revealed a 7 foot tall man in a black attire looking at us. His face was deformed, and his eyes, they were completely white. We all screamed, and right at the moment, the figure let out a horrific, gut wrenching scream. We ran out the house as quickly as possible. We were so scared that even after half an hour, we were still shaking with fear. A few years later, that house was finally torn down and a new house was built in its place. However, no one could stay at the place for more than a month. We all knew the reason why, but had decided we would never tell that night's incident to anyone.